WSI Staten Island 88.9. It's the Dago Show with your boy Emilio Sparks. In the building we have Naturel.
What's up?
And thank you very much for coming through tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you brought your buddy along.
Yes, sir.
The Illmind.
I had to bring something epic.
You had to bring Mr. Mind in.
Mr. Epic.
Now, why do they call you Illmind?
Illmind. Wow. I don't know.
Has anybody ever asked you that question?
Kind of insane. Now, actually, my homie Philly Blunt gave me that name. Shout out to DJ Philly Blunt. This was a minute ago. I don't know if you knew this, L, but yeah, dude. Back then, like way back then, in like I'd say 99, 2000. I showed him some of my beats one day, and he was like, "Dude, you have like a sick mind, sick brain," and it just kind of clicked, and I thought of Illmind, and I ran with it.
I like that. I like that a lot. You know what a lot of people don't know, and I was reading this off the Twitter, and I think this is how everybody finds out about anything right now is through Twitter. You're a teacher or a mentor. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a music production teacher at Harlem Children's Zone, out in Harlem. It's a nonprofit organization, and I do academic advisement as well. It's an after-school program for high school students out there. So you got these kids living in Harlem going to the technology site, and we offer them art classes like music production, what I teach, and then we have graphic arts, video production, and drama and improv class. And a cool thing about it is these kids get to go there and they do the fun stuff, and they get to do tutoring to help them with their grades. And it runs from 4:30 to 7 p.m. So they're not, after school they go straight there, they hang out, they do their thing. And the best part about it, and this is the kicker, these kids get paid a stipend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never happened when we were in school.
They can make up to $100 every 2 weeks.
You know what I had in school was, hey, don't kick the crap out of each other at the after school program, and maybe we'll give you some dipsy doodles.
Exactly.
I wish that they had that in school for me. Yeah. Like the one thing that they equated that we got right was the female reproductive system. You ever see how they do it? Like, you ever notice it looked like the Chicago Bulls insignia?
Chicago Bulls, exactly.
Insignia. So that's and we saw a video once where this chick was swimming in the pool, and they did the outline of the ovaries and the uterus, and you saw it twist, and it turned into the screen. So we were like, Michael Jordan, and that's how we figured out what the major, the ovaries were Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, and the uterus itself was Michael Jordan. And then we figured out what was Phil Jackson and Tony Kukoc on the inside. Wow. So the female reproductive system was the '96 Bulls.
That is incredible.
You worked with so many. You worked with Scarface, Redman. You did a remix for Tupac. You worked with Diamond D, Boot Camp. You're working with Swagger Boy from the Jabberwockies off his for his group. What is it called?
Kingdom.
Yeah, the Kingdom.
Big shout out to Kingdom. Big shout out to Lou out there from San Diego. Yeah.
You got the nice little cosign from Shaw Money.
Yeah. A little big shout out to Shaw Money. And a lot of people don't know. People ask me this all the time. All right, Illmind, are you in-house producer for G-Unit? No, I am not.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
People would hit me up on the BlackBerry, and they're like, "Yo, ask him if he's in-house." I go, "I can tell you that," and I don't know him like that.
I don't even know if they have an in-house thing. I don't know, but definitely big shout out. I definitely have to shout out D Prosper though, because this was back in 2006. D Prosper at that time was the senior A&R, the VP A&R of G-Unit at that time. So he was really the one that found me. He found me through a beat tape that he heard, and he literally sent me a message on MySpace.
That's crazy.
Yo, your beats are dope. I'm working on X, Y, and Z. Send me a beat tape. So I went to my vaults, and I picked 30 of my hottest beats, and I sent them over to him. I was like, all right, whatever. So then a few days later, he hits me back. He's like, yo, me and Shaw want to sign you in-house. I'm like, oh. Really? Okay.
That's nice. Thank you.
That's nice. That's life-changing.
Yeah, right then and there, you don't expect that. You wake up the next day wow.
Yeah, so...
He was at my birthday dinner, which I was late to.
That's right.
And he got the text, and he was sitting to my right, just like he is now. And, he just shows me
forgot about that.
Yeah, he shows me his BlackBerry. He's like, yo, just look at this. I was like, what are you still doing here? I'm like, man, you better go make some Baby Dre Key beats, man. For real. And he was just like, nah, I'm straight, man. I'm like, nah, go home, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I forgot about that. I was this guy's birthday joint.
That was life changing for me.
Yeah.
It was life changing for me, and I just heard it.
It ain't even happening.
You know?
So I've just been I've been down with them ever since. You know.
You know, like any other good producer, you evolve and you start messing around with different sounds and different techniques of sampling and not necessarily sampling. Like I know two very good producers, one by the name of Mike Cash and the other by the name of Jay Glaze, and I'm always amazed that they take a sample and then they build around the sample, and then if you mute the sample, the song is still so full and so crisp that you really don't need the sample. And I think you embody that as well. You know, so let's talk about like your growth. Do you feel like it's just bound by the limitation of your mind and what record excites you?
Right.
And let's talk about the whole idea of what sounds do you use that do get you excited to the point where you want to create something totally different.
Right. Well, like for me, like in the very beginning, really a lot of my techniques were pretty much like borrowed from other producers, and just like the little things that you learn from actually doing it hands-on. Like it was just a whole process of learning new techniques. Like in the beginning, when I first started, you know, I had to have a starting point of who I would be inspired by, and those were, you know, that was like Dilla basically. So really, like literally my older beats, it would be my goal to recreate what his beats sounded like and his feeling. So a lot of my early stuff, you know, had the swinging drums and the, you know, the bass lines, like kind of similar to Dilla or whatever.
Dilla pause.
Right, Dilla. And it was sample based, really was. Like I started off with 4 crates that my dad had, and he had this one record is one of my favorite records is called Pinoy Jazz, and it's this jazz group from the Philippines. And I know I'm the only person with that record. Maybe Babu has it or something, or Automatic. But yeah, so you know, I started off with crates, you know, and it was really sample based, and I just pretty much just chopped up samples and layered drums, and that was really it. So just as time went on, and I kept doing it more and more, like I just figured out more and more techniques, like filtering samples, and then just layering with instruments. So like at the point I'm at now is like you were saying earlier, you know, you can chop a sample up and add drums and add these different synths and elements and live instrumentation, and then just completely take the sample out, and it would still sound good. It would sound.
Are you happy with the current trend of production out? Do you feel like the heavy synth driven and the way the drums are produced, like pretty much like I love Baltimore music. I think B-more is great, and I love the breaks, and I love how that's integrated now into hip hop as well. And now, you know, certain producers are sampling house music as well. But do you feel that is a trend, or do you feel like that's maybe like what sampling soul records was for when we grew up? How do you feel about like the new age style of production? Is there even a new age style of production?
Yeah, there definitely is, and I credit technology for that, really, because like, you know, if let's say when, you know, in the mid 80s or the early 90s, if we had Reason and we had all these different synths that we have today, I mean, would Pete Rock sound like Pete Rock? Would Diamond D sound like Diamond D? Would you know, Primo sound like Primo? They sound like the way they sound because of the technology that was available to them, you know. Pete Rock on the SP was forced to sample, you know, less than 12 seconds. But if he had, I don't know, if he had Reason or Logic, would he make the music the same way? So I feel like technology, really, I gotta credit technology for that. Like a lot of these kids who start producing, like they immediately just think synths, because that's what's provided to them. You know, they download Fruity Loops or they get Reason, and then like that's how they approach it. You know what I mean? But as far as like the new sound, like I love a lot of it. I think a lot of it is really dope. But you know, just like rap, you know, just like lyricism, there's a lot of dope stuff and there's a lot of whack stuff too. You know, so I guess there's a fine line, but there's definitely some dope
True
stuff.
story, folks. Illmind's gonna produce a beat entirely through auto-tune.
Auto-tune album.
He's gonna auto-tune the drums.
I'm gonna beatbox with the auto-tune on.
I would. That's smart.
Idea.
All right, so why don't we do this? Let's take a quick commercial break, and I will. When we get back, I will show you Megan Fox's effed up thumbs.
Oh, we gotta talk about.
You want to see that, right?
I want to see it. I want to tweet about it and everything.
All right, so why don't we do this? 718-982-3060.